Kempionessa coming in for good support. Wild Knight, Sharp and Smart, the 3-year-olds well supported as we throw it back to you, BP.
Thanks a lot, Bevan. Yes, the first of our Group 1s, and Horse and Picture Shop is a runner that won a Group 1 at Wait for Age last time to the races, and of course that is Defibrillate. He's a horse trained by the Richardson Norvale team, Warren Kennedy aboard. He seems to race well with his races being spaced. He's the third favourite at full 21.60.
Yeah, he's really enjoyed New Zealand life, hasn't he? So 3 starts in now, and he's won his last 2. And you know, it's when these horses are in form, especially at Wait for Age, they're always hard to beat.
Next in the book is runner number 2, and this is He's a Doozy. He is the winner of the Thorndon Mile, and also he won the Copeland's Bakery Mile. Just before we touch on this, runner 2, can tell you with the inquiry it has been dismissed, so placing stand from the previous race, placing stand in the inquiry from race number 5. Look, he does go up to the 2,000 metres. He has been placed here last preparation over 2,100 metres, so just bear that in mind, punters, but he's a horse now that looks ready to be able to tackle a race like this. Exactly.
Look, he's in career best form, and you know, the good 3 track's going to really suit him today as well.
Number 3, Demonetisation. He's a runner that can be hard to catch, but when he's at his best form, we know at Wait for Age, he's been able to perform at the Group 1 level. He was good enough to run 3rd recently behind Defibrillate in the Balmerino, and of course was a winner at Wait for Age recently in the Tauranga Stakes. Demonetisation, Nigel Tiley, Jonathan Riddell.
Yeah, he's one of my old favourite horses, and look, he's not without a chance from the good gate of 5.
The 4 in the book is Just a Maze, and if Just a Maze from a couple of years ago was able to find the front here, that would give him a chance, because it's a race that's hard to try and work out where the leader will be. He hasn't quite been that horse over the last couple of seasons, but he's drawn load, locally trained by David Green and Sam Spread aboard.
He used to be one of those horses a couple of years ago that he'd jump out and put himself right there and lead or sit outside the leader, and look, he's been a fraction disappointing, even though he's a little bit better his last start 4th.
Let's move on to the 5 in Asterix. He's at a price where punters are keen to speculate each way. He is a Derby winner, and he got back into form with his win recently, and that was on a heavy surface over the 1,600 metres. O'Sullivan Scott train and Craig Zaki aboard.
Yeah, he's a very promising horse. You know, he's going to have to be really super, especially at Wait for Age. He might find it a fraction tough, but once he gets back into those handicap races, I think he's a horse that could win something half decent in Aussie.
Tutukaka's a horse who's been able to show his best in Australia as a 3-year-old. He's come back. He's had a win 2 starts ago in the Topol Cup, and he ran 3rd in the Karaka Cup last time out to the races out of Pukekohe over the 2,200 metres. Tony Pike, Jake Bayliss.
Yeah, we all saw what he did at Taupo when he won really easy, and then last start he was a fraction disappointing on paper when he ran 3rd.
Coventina Bay, a winner of this race last year, just trying to work out where she's at, her best form. We know her best form could win this race like she did last year when beating home the Chosen One. She's a 2-time Group 1 winner, Robbie Patterson, Craig Grills.
Yeah, she's gone to the start earlier, she always does, and she looks really good, coat sparkling. We know how good she can be, and if there was going to be a knockout, it could be her.
Well, one horse that has been backed in terms of a knockout is Opie Bosson's ride, Kempionessa. She's opened at $13 and now $7, and well played in that middle market is this horse. Ran 4th most recently behind Ladies Man in the Trentham Stakes. Mark Walker, Opie Bosson.
Yeah, she's got the Opie factor on, and you know, 2 starts ago when she run here over a mile, she exploded, and look, she's not without a chance.
The 9 in the book is the 2nd favourite. Yes, the 2nd favourite, because we'll talk about the favourite very shortly. Sharp and Smart. He's had his first up run, which was a defeat at Group 1 level in the Thorndon Mile when finishing into 2nd position. He's won a Group 1 at 2,000 metres in Sydney. Team Rogerson trained Ryan Elliott aboard. Yeah,
we've seen what this horse has produced in Australia, and he's a very, very good horse. And look, if you know, the gate's going to be tricky if Ryan rides him forward or he just rides him behind, but I just feel the way the track's running, they'll try and put him probably outside the leader.
See, this market keeps changing. It's between the 9 and the 10 because he's the $3 favourite. Sharp and Smart and Wild Knight is back to a $3.50 quote. Nothing separates them, and Wild Knight, he goes over distance for the very first time. He ran 2nd behind Prowess. He got within a length of that horse, which now when you watch what she just did 2 races races ago. Looks like great form. Michael McNabb, Mark Walker.
Yeah, down to the 54 kilos, these 3-year-olds. They're getting great at the up weights. It's still very hard for these 3-year-olds to line up against these older horses, but he's walking just past us and he looks super fit.
He does, doesn't he? The 11 is Cruise Missile. He's at an outsider's price, but he probably shouldn't be, Leith. He's a horse that will get the great run in the race. He looks like he'll track speed. He comes into this off the back of a Ginger Nut Salva win when beating home Devildom.
Yeah, look, his last 2 starts have been super, and you know, it would have been quite a tough decision for Michael McNabb to make as well. And you know, another 5 minutes, we're going to know if he made the right one.
So 280 for Sharp and Smart, 360 around the price for Wild Knight, and then you've got 650 Defibrate and 650 2 for Campionessa. Let's get to you, Aidan, with Mark Walker.
Great, Mark. You've just legged your jockeys aboard. How happy are you with your pair?
No, I thought they paraded terrific, and we've got jockeys that are in form on them, so the rest is up to how they run now.
We spoke about that track work on Wednesday morning being absolutely first class. What's Opie thinking with Campionessa? Does he think he can tip over Wild Knight here?
She's a runner's chance, definitely top 5 sort of. Well, she's got to run top 5 to get the late payment back, but I think she can run well, but I'd be surprised if she bet Wild Knight.
What gave you the confidence to put that late entry up?
Well, her rating's now 97, so she's just too high in the handicaps, and we just thought we'd test the water here, and why not? 450,000, you've got to take your hat off to the Dyke family for putting that sort of money up, and you're seeing good horse racing here today at Te Rapa.
Your comment suggests that Wild Knight is the top ranker of your pair. How's he going?
No, we think he's going really well, but we're about to find out.
Yeah, what a field, Mark, and obviously 3-year-olds, I think Valley Girl was the most recent to win. How's he placed in this?
Oh, I think he's placed really well. He's a big, strong horse for his age, and I think he'll run out of his skin.
Okay, best of luck, and best of luck with the sprint coming up too.
Thank you.
Mark Walker there chatting about his 2 runners, and certainly giving us a good line in the sand around where these horses sit, with Wild Knight at 360, second favourite, but a very well played third favourite. Yes, third favourite, Campionessa, $13 to 650, and that meant that Defibrate had to move in the market and has gone outwards to a quote now of $7.50 around his chances here, who was at one stage $4 with the bookmakers. George, might bring you in here for an assessment of the race, the Rapa DYKE Stakes, the first of our features, and the market is moving around the 3-year-olds. They dominate it, 280 versus 360 for Sharp and Smart and Wild Knight.
Yeah, we spoke about the 3-year-old factor when we discussed this race earlier today, Brendan, and I'm all around the 3-year-olds. I think 10 Wild Knight, I'm just hugely impressed by his condition. It was beautifully summed up there by trainer Mark Walker. He's a big beast of a horse, and I think from his handy barrier draw with the white-hot Michael McNabb, the Zinc Kid aboard, he's going to get every opportunity here, Wild Knight. Look, Sharp and Smart, the barrier draws, it hasn't fallen his way, but he's good enough to overcome it. Don't worry about that. 1 Defibrate, he's been there at the highest level and done that, and Warren Kennedy looking for another big race win on the program. And I think the forgotten horse in the race is 7 Coventina Bay. She won this race last year. Look, from her usual high standards, her last couple of runs possibly a bit below par, but never underestimate quality, and she possesses it in spades loads. So 10, 9, 1 and 7. I'm with the 3-year-olds here, though. 10 Wild Knight on top.
Cheers, George. Let's get to Aidan Rodley. He's our roving reporter. He's in the stands. To you, Aidan.
Yeah, I've climbed a few steps up here to grab hold of Graham Rogers. And Graham, your impression about how Sharp and Smart's paraded for the Group 1?
Yeah, well, you'd say he's a bit fresh looking in the parade ring, but, you know, he's drawn a bad alley, so it's up to Ryan. He's got no instructions. He rides his own race.
How's he come on since the Thorndon Mile?
I think he's improved.
He's been so good right through the spring and now into summer. What can you expect here?
Well, he needs an ounce of luck in running.
Best of luck, Graham.
Thanks.
Graham Rogerson with Sharp and Smart. He's at $2.80. We are on start time for the first of our features. Quick look at the market again. 350 Wild Knight. Campionessa sits at $7 and Defibrate at $7.50. It's the first of 2 red-hot Group 1s coming up here. It is the Rapa DYKE Stakes worth $450,000 with a couple more to load. Here's George Simon.
So So still about 4 to load away. Just Amaze about to come up. Demonetisation, Asterix and Sharp and Smart. It's been in a great battle for favouritism, Sharp and Smart with Wild Knight at the moment. Sharp and Smart back into favouritism at 3.20 the tote. So good luck to all the connections. Runners in the Herbie Dyke Stakes. We remember the great man, proud Waikato man, proud thoroughbred man, Herbie Dyke. So this is it. This is the Herbie Dyke Stakes. First of our Group 1 features. We're set. They stand well. Let's bring it on. Gates open. They're off on the Herbie Dyke Stakes to a perfect dispatch. First away, Cruise Missile. Wild Knight goes forward, as does Tutukaka. Ryan Elliott is pushing the button on Sharp and Smart. He's going to amble up alongside of the leaders as well. Right there, he's a doozy. A length and a half away, Campionessa. Just Amaze is next from Defibrillate. Back near the tail, Demonetisation from Asterix, and last is Coventina Bay. Bit of cat and mouse going on here as they head out towards the 1400 metres mark. And the pacemaker, Tutukaka. Who would have thought that? He's going to find the lead here. He finds the rail and leads at a hand canter only now as they swing into the back. Second up on the outside, he's a doozy. Cruise Missile dropped into third. Moving forward, Defibrillate caught out 3 wide in the cheap seats. Beautifully situated, fifth one out now is Wild Knight. Sharp and Smart, he's 3 wide but with cover. From on the inside, Campionessa, and then Just Amaze from Coventina Bay. Back second last is Demonetisation, and last of all is Asterix. Only 9 lengths over the field, mid-race, 9.50 left to go. He had to go forward on Defibrillate, and he's done so, Warren Kennedy. And the Defibrillate leads by 2 lengths. In second spot, he's a doozy, the Thorndon winner. Then followed by Tutukaka, now third. Wild Knight's getting all favours. Conversely, Sharp and Smart, he's been caught out in the cheap seats, 3 wide without cover now. Then came over on the inside midfield is Cruise Missile, followed round them by Coventina Bay on the improve. From Just Amaze, Campionessa, further back Asterix, and 2 lengths away Demonetisation. The field for the Herbie Dyke Stakes. They turn for home. 400 metres to go. It's Defibrillate from He's a Doozy. Wild Knight presented a challenge. And behind them, Tutukaka, then followed by Sharp and Smart. Wild Knight ranged up. Campionessa's looking to get out. Sharp and Smart on the outside. He's a Doozy. Defibrillate still there. 5 of them across the track. Sharp and Smart ranged up. Campionessa's coming with it. Defibrillate on the inside. Sharp and Smart, the 3-year-old. Well, we've seen another beauty today. Sharp and Smart. Sharp and Smart has won the Herbie Dyke Stakes from Campionessa. Third over, we've got Defibrillate and Wild Knight, and then followed in behind them next as they went across the line by Coventina Bay. He's a doozy. Demonetisation, Asterix, Tutukaka, then Just Amaze and Cruise Missile. What a win! What a win! 9, Sharp and Smart, the son of Redwood, trained by Team Rogerson, and Ryan Elliott, who's been missing meals left, right and centre for the last couple of weeks to get down to this 54 kgs. And he has got his Group 1 aboard Sharp and Smart. Campionessa will be second. Oh, it's very close for third. You don't write off Wild Knight. It's in a photo with Defibrillate. It is a lot closer for third and fourth than what I had thought. But in the end, he was caught 3 wide without cover for about the last 800 metres of the race. He was patiently ridden by Ryan Elliott. He sat and waited for as long as he possibly could. In the end, he's got there. He's outstayed them. Have we got a derby in store after what we saw with Prowess and now Sharp and Smart, the equal favourites for the derby going into the Herbie Dyke? Congratulations to Team Rogerson and Ryan Elliott.
Are you kidding me? Fair dinkum. Sharp and Smart wins the Herbie Dyke and has covered the globe to do it. Boy, this is a big win by Sharp and Smart, the 3-year-old. Team Rogerson, they get the prize with their smart 3-year-old, who now makes it 2 Group 1s in his 3-year-old racing season. His 5th win at start number 10, and boy, did he have to earn that. Let's get to you, Aidan Rodley.
What a performance, Graham. Sum that up for us.
Ah, well, when he learns to be a racehorse, I think I got a good horse.
I think you might have too. There must have been concerns, especially when you were trapped wide and doing work early.
Nah, not really. I think he's a freak. He can run a 633, and he still sat there, and every time you hit him, he gives.
From what he he was doing in the spring, to see him come back and win a Group 1 weight for age in summer, how special is that?
I think next spring, I think you'll see a real good horse.
Is that on the first Tuesday in November?
I hope so.
What's next, Graham?
I'd love to take him to Hong Kong, but we'll see what happens.
New Zealand Derby next up.
Yeah.
And then Australia?
AJC Derby.
We look forward to it all, Graham. Well done.
Thank you.
Graham Richardson, winning trainer. And I think the thing there too, Leith, is that he said this horse could be a freak, and we all know that he's handled some of the best horses going around over the last sort of 50 years or so.
Yeah, he didn't get many favours out there from the wide draw, and look, Ryan didn't panic. He knew what horse he was on, and he had a bit of faith in him. It's just great for him to ride at 54 kilos.
And he had to be a freak to win that too, because he had an awkward draw, and then he was trying to get to an outside leader position, and then got the shuffle up, and he's had to cover that extra ground.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of interference at the top of the straight where Opie's just sort of come out and Ryan's sort of come in and held his ground, so it'll be interesting if they have a look upstairs.
Yeah, it's a good point that with what's happened with Campionessa, who was the horse who has finished into second position. There is our star pedigree, brought to you by Westbury Stud and Sharp and Smart. He's a son of Redwood, out of a Swiss Ace mare and Queen Margaret. And well done to Jerry Harvey, the breeder, Team Rogerson. Really, what have they got on their hands here? Sharp and Smart. What does that do to a Derby market as well, with what we've just seen with the filly winning Prowess? They were both equal at $3.50. We'll have to wait for all that very shortly, because we're holding our breath here to catch up with Ryan Elliott, winning jockey aboard Sharp and Smart. And of course, he's got another Group 1 coming up, Ryan, with Levante in the BCD Group Sprint. The game run from Defibrate, who's had to go forward from a wide run to run fourth, with the third horse being Wild Knight, who was presented at the top of the straight, and Campionessa, who certainly has run a big race, has backed up that market movement to finish into second position. See if we can get to Aidan Rodley, just trying to spy if he's close by with Ryan Elliott. Let's get to you, Aidan.
Thanks for that, Brendan. Ryan, there must have been a few anxious moments, but what a horse you had under you.
Oh, he's an absolute champion, and the best thing about him, he's still got room to improve. He's coming off a tough run down at Wellington, and he's really tightened up well for this run.
Yeah, could you believe that speed that sort of had you posted early on?
I dictated that they were going to be punching up early just to hold a spot with us coming across, but he switches off so easy. I was able to slot back and slide behind through wide recover.
And when he's unleashed in the straight, what's he shown you today, Ryan?
He come off the bridle early like he did, and he kind of got a kid's on, just let him coast along until he straightens up, and once the horse got up the side, he really dug in deep, and he's in through the line strong.
You've got another top horse coming up in Levante, but obviously this one here gives you another Group 1. How does he rate now among the horses you've ridden?
Oh, he's definitely out there, only because he's so much more he's got to improve. Like, he's such a young horse, and he's mentally weak, but he's a lot more in store for him.
Only two riders have won this weight for age double in the past. You've got a chance of doing that with Levante now. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, I'm feeling really good. Her work during the week was outstanding, and just coming to the better track, it's perfect out there, and she's going to love it.
Congratulations, Ryan.
Cheers.
Ryan Elliott, winning jockey there aboard Sharp and Smart, and he gains the prize, the favourite. Leith will bring you in. Just what did you see unfold there? Because we knew that Ryan Elliott was going to have to be very positive in the race. We spoke about that pre-race, about trying to find that position. But of course, there were a couple of other jockeys who were very keen to try and flush him at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Group 1 racing is how the races should be run. I'm not going to give it an inch to any jockey out there. And look, you could see just about now on the bend that Tukakaka was probably going to lead, and Ryan sort of come back and ended up sort of 3 wide, punching the breeze for most of the race. So it was a pretty good effort by the horse.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Look, Wild Knight was in a position in that 1-by-1 spot where he was in that challenging spot to really put the race away.
He had the perfect run by Michael, and look, he first started over 2,000 metres. He's had every chance of a line.
That's what you were sort of talking about too as well.
There was a little bump there. I think it was Opie Moore coming out to Ryan, and Ryan's just sort of held his ground.
and Defibrillator horse who had to go forward, but he was also caught wide. He's ended up going to the top of the race, and he's fighting on hard against the rail, considering his trip too, and with what the run that Wild Knight got, and he's just about run third. He's boxed on to run fourth.
Yeah, no, it was a good effort. It probably wasn't his plan to lead, but look, they didn't go very hard. They just sort of steadied down the back straight, which allowed him to sort of get back onto the inside fence.
Well, we've seen a huge performance by the 3-year-old, and that being Sharp and Smart. He takes out the first of our features on our big Saturday of racing, brought to you by International Animal Health Products. The Herbie Dyke goes to Sharp and Smart.